Hello everybody, here we are today looking back at the 2015 NHL Draft class and seeing who the top 10 scores are to date and how some players' careers are panning out. So before we get started with that, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So because you guys voted on here that you wanted to see season preview starting August 1st, we're going to be doing that, but in the coming days, we're going to be talking about a few fun and different things. And today we're going to be covering the 2015 draft class and seeing exactly who is doing well for themselves. So coming in at number 10, you have Timo Meier, and Timo ends up having a good career so far, as he was selected with the 9th overall pick by the San Jose Sharks, and is somebody that has done very well for himself on multiple occasions. He is a guy that's got 6 seasons, I believe, with 20 goals or more, and is a 3-time 30-plus goal scorer. Actually had a 40-plus goal season not too long ago. I think it was actually 40 right on the mark, and has been a very good player, not just for one team, but for two, as he was traded from the San Jose Sharks to the New Jersey Devils, is on a New Jersey team that could do something really well for them and then for himself, of course, too. And while he hasn't collected a lot of hardware, maybe that could change in the coming years, I don't exactly know, as he's not been able to produce a lot of points, but has been a proven goal scorer and a difference maker for his teams. I see him as somebody that will crack the 500-point club within the next 2 years, as he believe at the moment he has 382 points. And again, this might not be somebody that is going to have a monster year every single year, but he will be a reliable and good player. Coming in at number 9, you have Brock Boeser. Now, Boeser was taken with the 23rd overall pick by the Vancouver Canucks after playing in the USHL. Also played in North Dakota, and I should mention that you had Timo that played with Halifax, the Mooseheads, in the QMJHL, because I forgot to mention that. Anyway, for Brock, he is having a good career too, as he has scored 20 goals or more on 5 occasions in the NHL, and he's coming off of his first 40-goal season with Vancouver and helped them go on to win the Pacific Division. Now, like Timo, he doesn't have any individual hardware, but he is playing on a good team, and for the first time in a minute, the team is good, and he feels like his place within the organization is secured and safe. And like him and Timo, they're going to be cracking the 500-point mark within the next 2 years probably, and I'm excited to see how this one pans out as a Vancouver fan. Coming in at number 8, we have Travis Konecny, and Konecny was taken with 24th overall pick by the Philadelphia Flyers in this draft after playing with the Ottawa 67s, and he is a player that has been very, very good. He actually signed an extension the other day, signing an 8-year deal, and he's got a long way to go in that deal, but is certainly making a lot of money and has proven himself in the NHL to this day. He's really been a mainstay in the league since the 2016-17 season, and has been somebody that isn't a star like Brock and Timo. He doesn't have any awards to his name, but has been able to produce a lot of 60-plus point seasons and is nearly been at the threshold of hitting the 70-point mark in his career. He's coming off of a career-high 68 points and is got back-to-back 30-plus goal seasons. Talked about him recently in a video, and is possibly going to be one of those big-name players for the Flyers and their organization in years to come. And if he actually plays out the rest of his contract with Philly, is going to be viewed probably as a long-term player that fans can say, oh, he is one of our fan favorites, and that is always nice to see with the draft class where he's only at number 8 and he's already being viewed as a potential fan favorite. Coming in at number 7, we have Matt Barzal, and Barzal was taken with the 16th overall pick by the New York Islanders, and he played for the Seattle Thunderbirds. He is a player that has been able to actually win a little bit of hardware. He won the Calder back in 2018, and on top of that too, has been able to see individual success and team success, as he was part of those New York teams that were able to go to the 3rd round conference final, but one year it wasn't technically called the conference final, in back-to-back years. Ended up losing to the eventual champions both times in those seasons, the Tampa Bay Lightning. One of those was a Game 7 1-0 loss that was painful, but either way, Barzal and New York have been able to have a pretty good time where they've made the playoffs consistently, have been able to go on a couple of deep runs. He has 2 seasons where he's hit 80 points or more, with the second one coming this past season. And unless injuries derail him, he is definitely going to be hitting the 500-point mark this year. Konecny, I didn't mention, is at 400 points exactly, but we will see Barzal, out of this group of players mentioned so far, be the only one to hit 500 points this year, unless you see Konecny have his first 100-point season. Now, coming in at number 6, we have another player that will certainly hit the 500-point mark this year, and that is Kyle Connor. Connor was taken with the 17th overall pick by the Winnipeg Jets in the 1st round, and he played for the Phantoms in the USHL before going on to play with Michigan, I do believe. He has been able to be a goal-scoring machine so far in the NHL with 243 goals to date. He has been playing at a 39-goal pace over the past 3 seasons and has 3 seasons with 70 points or more under his belt so far to date. And like we saw with Barzal, he has been able to have good success with the Jets. Winnipeg hasn't been able to go on as many deep runs as you would see with Barzal and the Islanders, but with Kyle, he's been able to provide goal scoring. For a team that's been in the hunt for their division as well as been able to go on one deep run themselves, Kyle is going to be expected to carry the load a bit this year too, as the Jets were on the verge of possibly even going out there and winning their division last year. They faced an early exit again this season, which was unfortunate, but Kyle is going to do his part to make sure that they rebound and maybe crack through the playoffs for the first time since 2018. Now, coming in at number 5 on this list, you have Jack Eichel. Eichel was taken with the 2nd overall pick by the Buffalo Sabres, and he has been a player that came out of Boston University and has produced. Now, things didn't work out exactly in Buffalo, as while he was a good player, his team wasn't very consistent, was never able to make the playoffs, so they shipped him off to Vegas. And what does he do? Well, he's the first player on the list that we've mentioned so far that has won a Stanley Cup. And in this time, he's been a guy that's been productive with Vegas, with Buffalo, and has been able to see, again, the opportunity to win a championship when a lot of people thought that would never come when he played with Buffalo. Now, is he going to be the best player out of this group? Probably not, but he's been a guy that's been close to a point per game as a player, has already passed the 500-point mark, and is probably thinking about 1,000 points or more to this point. And I don't know if he's going to win any hardware in the coming years, as his seasons aren't crazy, but they are good, and he's going to be a guy that if he has over a point per game as the course of his career and is able to win another championship with Vegas, is going to have a career you can look back at and say very, very good, and something that Eichel and his family are probably excited about. Now, coming in at number 4, you have Sebastian Aho. Aho was taken with the 35th overall pick in the draft, and he was previously playing for Karpat in Liga, and they were able to win at least one championship with him there. They had gone back-to-back, but I don't think he was part of the previous team. Either way, he's been able to go to the Carolina Hurricanes and has been one of their best players on a team that is in their best era, honestly. I know that they've won a title in 06, but if we're talking sheer consistency in being a team that has been able to win their division and go on deep runs, this is a great side and the best that they have seen. And so far, I would go out and venture to say, with Aho having a long-term deal, he could be number 1 in a ton of categories right now, as he's already marching his way into being like top 3 in a ton of categories for the team. I know the franchise isn't super old, but he has been a great player. He could very well go on to be their best player of all time. And with a career shooting percentage of 15.2% so far and 557 career points, and just how things have gone for him, I'd say I'm scared for the opposition. And taking the bronze, because the Olympics are going on, you have Mikko Rantanen. Rantanen was taken with the 10th pick in the first round, of course, and was taken by the Colorado Avalanche after playing in Liga with TPS. He has been an insanely good player and somebody that's been able to score a ton of goals, especially over the past 2 years. He has 97 goals over the past 2 seasons, and most importantly, was able to say that he won a championship with the Colorado Avalanche. So he and Jack Eichel can say that they've been able to raise a cup, and with Mikko, he is a guy that's a threat to go out there and possibly win the Rocket. Is just a great goal scorer for this Colorado team, provides a lot of offensive opportunity for this side, and they're looking to win their 2nd championship. Mikko will probably be a big factor in that along the way, as he has been a threat since the beginning, pretty much, it feels like, and in recent years has been able to pour it on. So with him having 617 points so far, I'd say that it's a good chance for him to crack 1,000 points in his career, if not go even further. Now, taking the silver, it is Mitch Marner. Marner was taken with the 4th overall pick by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was previously playing with the London Knights squad that won it all in the CHL. Very stacked team, by the way, mind you. Anyway, he has been able to be very successful, of course, with this good draft class on a Toronto team that has been a consistent playoff side. Now, the weird thing about this is you're looking at a lot of these players and hearing about, them being a fan favorite, being a Stanley Cup champion, winning the Calder, all of these things. But unfortunately for Marner, things haven't always been so rosy, as being in a big Toronto market has led to some scrutiny, especially with the playoff failures, as Toronto has not been able to go past the 2nd round at all and has only been able to make it to the 2nd round on 1 occasion. Things have not always looked good for them come postseason time, with Marner being in the fray there. It's weird because he is a very good player, but his time with Toronto is up in the air right now as he's on the final year of his deal. There are certainly teams that will go out there and pay money to go out there and get him, and he has been able to average over a point per game for his career, and I believe at this point he has 635 points in his career so far to date. Certainly will crack 1,000 points as well, I feel like, and whether or not that comes with Toronto or another team, I don't know, but I do want to emphasize that he's not a bad player for all the heat that he takes. And taking the gold is Connor McDavid. McDavid was taken with the 1st overall pick, as he was seen as a consensus first pick off the board. and the Oilers had to be ecstatic after he had a great stint with the Erie Otters. Looking at what he's been able to do in the NHL to this point is unreal, as he's a Hall of Fame player to this day. Now, he hasn't been able to go out there and win a championship, but he's been able to be a 5-time Ross Trophy winner, 3-time Hart winner, even won the Rocket one year as he had 64 goals and is nearly at 1,000 points already with 982 points, is nearly in the top 100 for scoring all time in the NHL, has been a monster, just came off of a Stanley Cup final loss in Game 7. You know he's going to be motivated. You know he's going to have another year where he wins multiple trophies. This is possibly one of the best players we've ever seen. I actually think that already, and I hate to say that he's better than some of my childhood idols, but I think we're getting at the point where we can go out there and say that he is. I really hope that he's able to play this way until he's like 35, and he will undoubtedly be the best player from this draft class. So looking at this draft class, I think there's a lot of things you can take away from this. Looking at the top 30 scorers, there are a lot of big names on here. You're seeing guys like Zach Werenski, that is one of the more notable defensemen from this group, and just a lot of quality talent. In fact, all of the top 10 picks from the draft are actually still in the league, and you're seeing players that have won Calder's like Kaprizov that could be the steal of the draft, as he was taken nearly, I think, what was it, with the 135th pick in the draft that year, something like that, and has been a great return value thing for Minnesota. Barzal, of course, won the Calder too. You're seeing multiple players go out there and have potentially Hall of Fame careers. McDavid is the lock. I think other players, it's more up in the air at the moment, but still seeing a lot of talent. One thing that's notable here, though, is you're not seeing a lot of goalie talent in this draft, as the most notable names are Ilya Samsonov, Mackenzie Blackwood, and then Adin Hill. So looking at all of these players, I'd say Samsonov is probably the most notable in terms of what he's done so far, as he's the only goalie to crack 100 wins in his career so far. And then Adin Hill did help the Vegas Golden Knights go out there and win their championship. He was a key part, I think in the second round it was, and then of course they went on and switched things around towards the end of the playoffs, but still quality talent. And it is interesting too to see 2 of the 4 top players in terms of points be Finnish, and that's good for the league in terms of getting other countries involved besides just Canada in America, and certainly something that I like to see, watching a lot of these foreign players come over and have success in the best league in the world. But anyway, this is just a quick talk about a 2015 class that continues to impress. The only thing I will say is I don't know if any of these players are going to win the Vezina, and I don't know if they'll win the Norris, but we are seeing a lot of guys that are going to continue to make a lot of money, that have already signed a lot of long-term extensions, that are setting themselves up for the future, and I hope they continue to produce. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the 2015 NHL Draft class? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe, have a great night, and you go love hockey, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.